Hello, this is Pranav from Aquatic Express, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the 7 best beginner fish. So, number 1 is the White Cloud Mountain Minnow, and these guys are a great beginner fish. Um, in my opinion, and in my experience, and a lot of other people's experience, because these guys are just great beginner fish because they're super hardy. They tolerate a wide range of mistakes. They will not hold any mistakes against you, like I mentioned. Um, they're super tolerant over a wide range of conditions, so it doesn't matter whether you have like soft water or hard water or like in between soft and hard water. They're gonna be fine either way. Um, so my tip would be, if you wanted to get these guys, get at least a 10-gallon aquarium, and this goes for any even an intermediate experienced fish keeper. I would get at least a 10-gallon aquarium. You don't need a heater for these guys, but I would definitely get a filter. And yes, they will be really hardy. They could even potentially breed for you if they're kept by themselves. But in at least a 10-gallon, they can be a great beginner fish, and they're great community fish as well. They're really peaceful. They leave other fish generally alone, and yeah, they're super easy to take care of. And you will enjoy having these. All right. Number 2 is the Zebra Danio, and these guys are another great beginner fish, um, just like the White Cloud Minnow. And these guys are also about the same size as the White Clouds, maybe a little bit bigger, but pretty much similar size as the White Clouds. They're small fish. My advice would be similar. These guys are super peaceful. They can go pretty much with other fish. They're community fish. They're great. My advice with these would be get at least a 20-gallon, just because they can be quite active, and you do want to give them that extra room. And my advice with both the a lot of these fish on this list, like these Danios, and even the minnows I mentioned earlier, get a group. So get at least 6 of these guys. Um, and that is especially important with the Danios, just because they can chase each other a bit. So get at least 6, ideally 8 to 10 would be better, or ideally more than that. The more you can get, the better, and that's why I recommend at least a 20. But they're great fish. They're super easy to keep. They have a tolerant. They're really tolerant over a wide range of conditions, mistakes, and you will enjoy having these. Alright, number 3, and this is going to be the bristlenose pleco. Now, these guys are a bit different than the last 2 we talked about. They're not schooling fish. They get a little bit bigger, so they can get as big as 6 inches long. But these guys are really great hardy fish. I personally have kept these, and I'm enjoying keeping them. And they're great for beginners. They're a great beginner fish. They're even great for experienced fish keepers. They're great for algae control. So if you want something to help with algae, they're a great choice. My advice with these would be get at least a 20-gallon tank. They can produce a bit of waste, but just get at least a 20-gallon tank. Um, Make sure you have some driftwood in there, so they have that, because driftwood is really important part of their digestive system. But if you get driftwood for them, and you have enough algae in the tank for them, they're going to be great. I think the reason some people struggle with these is because what they end up thinking is that these guys are going to eat just algae and uneaten food and whatever's left in the tank, and that is true. While that is true, they will eat that stuff. I do recommend supplementing with like a good quality algae wafer or something like that, especially if your tank is running low on algae. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a pleco that's going to starve to death. All right, number 4, and that is the black neon tetra, and these guys are another great beginner fish. Um, they're great. They're really hardy. They're super peaceful. So they're super peaceful. They're great. They're great beginner fish. They're super peaceful. They won't hold it against you if you have like some pH swings or temperature swings. You do want a heater with these. Um, but they're not like hard to care for. They'll eat pretty much any food. Just like the other fish I mentioned earlier, they're gonna eat pretty much any food. They are schooling, so get at least 6 of them. The more the better. I would personally get a bare minimum of a 10 gallon. And if you can get a 20 gallon or larger, that's going to be good just because you can keep these guys in groups. And these guys are super hardy, they're not prone to disease, and if you take care of them, they're going to live for at least 5 years. Generally, they live about, like, I'd say 5 years, but yeah, they can potentially live longer than that if they're well cared for. Okay, number five, and this is the Harlequin rasbora. These guys are great, are a great beginner fish as well. Um, they pretty much um, are super peaceful. You want to keep at least six of them. You can keep them in a 10-gallon tank. You do want to heat it with these, but they're super hardy and they're really chill. They're super hardy. They can tolerate a lot of mistakes. Even if you have harder water, these are a great choice. I personally have harder water, but I do not have issues with these. They're great fish and they're super hardy, and I definitely recommend that you try these as a beginner. Okay, number six, and this is the Cory cat. Cory cats, and this meaning also known as corridors. So most corridors are great fish. They're bottom feeders, so they're similar to the plecos, but the main difference is these are schooling, so you want at least six. But they come in a wide variety of types, so you can get the like these. You see the albinos. For most of your Cory cats, you're gonna want at least a 20-gallon. Um, because they are going to need to be in groups and you do want to have a group of them. These aren't really algae eaters, so they're not going to really help with algae, but any uneaten food they'll help clean up. You do want to feed them with some kind of wafer, some kind of specialized food for them. But yeah, they're super easy, they're super hardy, they're not picky about what they eat, and they're not even picky about the types of water you have, like whether you have a low pH or a high pH, they're gonna be perfectly fine. Or number seven, this is gonna be the cherry barb. Okay, now generally I wouldn't recommend barbs as a beginner fish, but these are an exception. The reason I say generally wouldn't recommend barbs as a beginner fish is because of one reason, aggression. So these guys are So barbs in general can be a bit nippy and a bit aggressive, but I find the cherry barbs, they're super chill. I would say you could have them. You could technically throw a small group in there in a 10. Ideally, a 20-gallon or larger would be good for these guys. Keep them in groups of at least six. They're hardy, they tolerate a wide range of mistakes, and they're generally peaceful, so they can go with other fish, and they generally take pretty much most foods. All right, number seven. Okay, my bad. So I did the numbers wrong. So the cherry bar was number six. These are number seven, and these are the Endler's live bear. Now, generally, people are recommended a lot of the live bears like guppies and mollies, and even get like stuff like guppies and mollies. And I find that unless you really know what you're getting yourself into, they can be a bit of a challenge. But I find that Endlers are super hardy and they tolerate a wide range of mistakes. They're pretty adaptable towards pH, temperature, not picky. You do want a heater in here. They do breed, so that's something to keep in mind. I would keep these in at least a 10-gallon just because they're probably gonna breed. My only advice is just watch the population on these guys. They can just overpopulate your aquarium in a hurry, but they're great beginner fish. They can tolerate a lot of mistakes. They can take a wide range of foods, and they even like don't care really about, like I mentioned, about don't care that much really about pH and temperature. So yeah, those are my top seven big fish for beginners. And thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.